choices, intentional choices.
Don't wanna be all by myself anymore.
Sound check.
Well, g'day there. Welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan, and it is actually important that I introduce myself today because we're doing a new singer and therefore a new singer to our channel. And therefore, I think there might be a few new people who drop in to have a listen to our review and analysis of Erik Grönwall. Is that how I pronounce his last name? This is a performance of Erik singing the classic Mount Everest piece, All By Myself, the Celine Dion power ballad classic, in the original key, if you don't mind. This is a massive sing, and I'm so pleased that the performance was recommended to me by one of my regulars. Thank you to whoever that might have been, because I actually can't remember. Because Erik is a revelation. He's amazing. We are watching a studio performance here, and we'll confirm that as we go. Oh well, you'll see it on screen, but I think there is quite a lot of post-production polish going on here, as there should be. We're certainly not suggesting anything untowards by that. But he's outstanding. He's, great sound. And it all happens within the context of some health battles and challenges that he's had. We'll talk to that a little bit later. Because some of you may not have heard him before, I want to get in and so you can have a listen. Let's dive in. Erik Grönwall singing All By Myself.
When I was young, I never needed anyone, and making love was just for fun. Those days are gone. Living alone, I think of all the friends I've known, but when I dial the telephone, nobody's home.
I love his use of vocal fry onsets, those starts of some of his phrases are just wonderfully emotive, and it draws you in, doesn't it? I think most of us know where this song goes. It gets very big, but that necessitates making sure you start at base camp a lot lower in your amplitude and your altitude, if we continue the Mount Everest metaphor, and he does such a nice job. Just coming back to, I want to sort of find a spot where I can sort of show you.
I think of all the...
Let's just sit it there. It's this setup that suggests to me that this is a pre-recorded vocal that he is singing along to for the video recording. Erik, if you have any reason to be watching this review video, please give us the insider scoop and talk us through how you went about recording this. The reason I'm led to think that it was a pre-recorded vocal that is being sung to is because when we're recording in a studio setup, typically that microphone would be much higher so that the voice, the mouth, is a lot more level to what is the capsule within the microphone. It typically would have a pop filter in front of it. That would be really important in this instance because there's a lot of ambient resonance that Erik is creating for that intimate sound. And so you don't want to get a lot of wind noise from the breath and a lot of plosive sort of activity through the capsule. And so we use a pop filter to soften that out. And so they're the sort of things that I would expect to see in a recording scenario. Whereas in this instance, we've got the mic is sitting much further down. He's singing over the capsule, not at the capsule. I could be wrong. I could be taking all the visual signals and arriving at the wrong conclusion. He certainly is wearing in-ear monitors there, and it gives the appearance that he's recording in a single take in one hit. But nonetheless, I don't point these things out to suggest he's trying to deceive anyone. Not at all. I mean, if I was going about it, I would do exactly what he's done. What I think he's done. But nonetheless, let's continue because the song has got a long way to go.
Friends unknown, but when I dial the telephone, nobody's home. Sometimes I feel so insecure. Love so distant and obscure remains the cure.
His placement is just wonderfully consistent. Here at Voice Essentials, and particularly in the analysis videos, if you've watched enough of them, you might even get a little bit sick and tired of me talking about placement because we talk about it a lot. Placement is so important for tonal quality, and for creating consistency of tone, but it's also important for your listener inconsistent placement can lead to fatigue for the listener because the listener can be chasing the tone. They don't know they're doing that. That's just what's happening at a subconscious level. Whereas if the tone is consistent, the listener doesn't have to chase it because the tone just stays in the same spot. It's got consistency to it and predictability to it. And so the listener, it makes it so much easier for a listener to listen to that. Let's take a quick moment. I just want to jump over here. Let's have a look at the tonal aspects of what he's doing in VocaVista.
All by myself, don't wanna be all by myself.
You get to see this real belt focus in the second harmonic here, and also look at how this note climbs here. We'll jump over and have a look at pitch accuracy in a moment.
All by myself anymore. All by
I'm just this area here up above like the 1000 mark up into the 5000 hertz you've got this amazing full tone. Like we just get this full body of voice. And have a look at how this area here is going to quieten off.
Don't wanna live all by
We hear that note just drop the vocal tract a little bit.
all by myself anymore.
We'll jump over and have a look at the pitch accuracy.
All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself.
There's that movement sharp. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna bring it back to here. That area there, looking at some of that, I'm left going. I think this might be some tuning going on here.
All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself anymore.
There well could be some tuning applied in post to this. Certainly everything appears in general to be bang on. The approach to notes, the onsets, all appear to be,
Dial the telephone. Nobody's home.
It's really hard to tell. If there is tuning going on here, it's being done in a wonderfully transparent way. But everything does, like this one here, like that's, and like it's
All by myself.
We'll come back to it. As you know, there's a big note coming up, and we might want to go and have a look at that a little bit later. The jury's out on the pitch alignment. I'm leaning towards the fact that it may well have been tuned in post.
All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself anymore. All by myself. Don't wanna live all by myself anymore.
There is another area that we do need to discuss, which we haven't yet. And as I was watching the physicality of what he was just doing there, that sort of there's a lot of physical involvement going on there. Erik, for those of you who don't know, has had a significant health impact in his life. In 2021, he was diagnosed with a leukemia called acute lymphoblastic leukemia, ALL or AL for short, and had a bone marrow transplant and I believe some chemotherapy to boot. It's quite evident. I mean, this was released. I'll just check my notes here. This was this video was put up in released September 21, 2024. His diagnosis was 3 years prior to that. It certainly appears that there's not any significant impact on his voice per se. But what we do, the other thing that we do know is that he joined Skid Row in 2022, like 12 months after diagnosis-ish. But 2 years later in 2024, I dare say before the recording of this, he left Skid Row stating, and this is just going on publicly available information, he left Skid Row recognising that the impact of the touring schedule was taking a toll. And that does not come as a surprise to me. I have travelled alongside my wife's cancer journey, which was 9 years ago. She's perfectly, wonderfully healthy now. But at the time, she was diagnosed with bowel cancer. And certainly the diagnosis, the surgery, and the treatment, the chemotherapy for my wife, it's a rough journey. But it then has a really long tail, and that long tail is physical fatigue. It's significant, and it takes many years to recover from the treatment as much as the illness. And the thing to note there is that we are not just laryngeal. We don't just sing with a larynx. We sing with all of us. And the physicality that we have to bring to our singing is significant, especially in a power ballad as big as this. And I am in awe and really appreciate what it is taking for Erik to put this level of energy into this piece when we look at it through the lens, the context of his general health. And I think that should only be recognized and applauded, and I do so. Erik, I think that's amazing. And we're only halfway through. It gets even bigger. The keyboardist is wonderfully light over the keys. It just shows a lovely dexterity and technique, lovely feel.
When I was young, I never needed anyone, and making love was just for fun. Those days are gone. All by myself.
Listen to the choice he makes there on that starting note. Is ambient, immediately followed by clean tone. Choices, intentional choices.
Don't wanna be all by myself anymore.
There's that physicality I'm talking about, right? There's a real bracing there. Maybe not as much bracing as we might think. Let's have a look. Finish your sentence, Daniel. Maybe not as much bracing as we might think we might want to apply, but, certainly for the performance it works. Let's have a look at the pitch accuracy in the lead up to this section here. I'm going to take it from here.
All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself anymore.
When I see that, I do suspect that's tuned. Not to the point of where it's it's had everything absolutely stripped out of it so that it's like, horribly, robotic, because it doesn't sound robotic, does it? It sounds beautifully organic. And I must say, I don't actually have any doubts in my mind that Erik does sing wonderfully in tune. And what partly tells me that is, in my suspicion that this has been tuned, again, it can only be a suspicion because I only can look at the evidence in front of me. I was not in the room when the recording was done or the post-edit work was applied. But in my suspicion of the fact that it's been tuned, what I observe here is it is able to still be wonderfully organic. It doesn't have to be robotic in the outcome because his pitch accuracy would already be exceptional. And so we just get to apply some spit and polish. In this case, we're talking about some tuning. And it remains really cool to listen to. Doesn't sound overly processed. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe it was just, he just nailed it. But I suspect it's been tuned for the release and for the quality of what we're hearing. Again, here at Voice Essentials, we don't see the application of tuning as a suggestion of less than or calling into question the singer. We love to think that tuning is used in a transparent, as I think it's being applied here, in a really transparent, artistic way, and not in a disingenuous way. I have no trouble believing that, if we went to a live concert of Erik, you would get much the same, like it would just be awesome. Yeah. Great performer. Yeah. Have listened to that change. Yeah. I was busy. I was trying to get ready for, I wanted to show you this note. Something I didn't point out earlier is the height of the note. That one there is an F5. Like, come on. That's intense. But then we get this lovely change, this beautiful movement from the full-on belt, distorted vocal value into this beautiful, light, pure tone.
Don't wanna live by myself anymore.
Like, come on. That's gorgeous. He's cool. Thank you to those who recommended we go and have a listen to him, because he's got it going on. He's got it going on. That is awesome vocals, and made even more so in my mind for someone who is still in the in that sort of long journey of of recovery after cancer. So yeah, fantastic. If you've got other Erik performances that you would like reviewed, I would be very happy to take on your advice and go and have a look. We do the analysis videos here every week and sometimes twice a week. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel, hit the white bell icon, and get the notifications for when we go live with those videos. I look forward to seeing you in the next vocal analysis video. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.